hit that download button. Then you're ready to watch movies and TV shows for free, with no subscription required. So you can stream all day with nothing to pay. Pluto TV. Easy as 1, 2, 3.
I feel like royalty.
This is the real deal.
Hey, we're lost.
The Family Still Love. All episodes now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I'm visiting my mother-in-law. How are you feeling about that?
Feeling sad about going home, folks? Must feel totally unreal.
You will walk many miles. Your adventures will continue for years.
We are waiting, Bo.
I'm on my way.
It's back. I'm rather long now. Fire Country, new season, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
There are certain people that are challengers in the world.
In order to compete in the final, you must be in possession of a star.
I'm taking your star when I come back. What did you guys? Sure. What is it?
The Challenge Ball Service. New season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Pipeline to Mexico. We are arming the cartels.
100% no doubt about it.
Happening right under our noses.
But who's doing something about this? Nobody.
The CBS reports exclusive. Most Americans have no idea that we are effectively arming the enemy next door.
This is the story the American people need to know.
Arming cartels. Now streaming on the free CBS News app.
America Decides, taking you inside American democracy.
The most important stories on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis.
You're going to hear a lot of reporting.
It is clearly a pivotal moment.
Gun control, the economy, education, both sides of the political aisle fight it out for power.
Bring you the analysis that you need.
Thoughtfully, with context.
Be part of the conversation.
On CBS News streaming.
Welcome to America Decides, Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Coming up on serious. Wait a minute. Tom, is that you working the camera? Getting out of your close-up.
How they say Tony and Nate?
You may not say.
I swear they should have a camera during the commercial.
Such a good time here.
Your morning routine just got better. CBS Mornings.
Just watch it. Germ is the engine. Or the look like, and where are they? You would be in a Russian prison just for doing this interview. 60 Minutes introduces you to the Russian resistance.
In case you missed it on CBS Mornings Deals, we showed you this foldable electric bike tail.
All right, Jetson, this is $100 savings. This is an e-bike. All right, Gail, come on in here. So we're gonna put our helmets on. This e-bike actually folds really small, so it's great for traveling. Holds up to 260 pounds. Adjustable. 260 pounds. Adjustable seat and handlebars. And head over to the car. Then to the neighbor's house. Think about everything is
All the places you will go. And with our exclusive discount, you can get it for $299. That's 45% off the retail price. To shop for this and other items, scan the QR code on your screen or visit CBSDeals.com. Be sure to follow CBS Deals on Instagram. To get early access to some of our most popular deals.
How do I think of the only thing? Here's time.
It's got to be clean. It's got to be tied. Ready? This is wow. It's been a long time, friend.
Do you know what line you're crossing?
their parents to help them find a job. 17% have had their parents submit their job applications. 18% had their parents write their resume, and this is something that got me. 26% even had a parent sit with them in a job interview.
That's right.
So here's a question. If somebody comes and you're interviewing in your job and their mom is sitting there beside them,
I would question how you would make decisions.
that's what I would.
Are they gonna get bring them on to work too? Their job?
I would think that would not be highly thought of. Moms sit there and mom's asking questions.
Mom's asking questions like, what kind of food do you serve in this place? What kind of nutrition you got for my baby?
They said this during recent interviews, college graduates have been struggling to keep eye contact. They're asking for unreasonable compensation, and I also like this, not dressing appropriately. I've been in some workspaces where you want to say to the young women, did you leave your pants at home? Do you not have a mirror? I know that's fashion. Shouldn't we wear pants?
Pants? I mean, I don't know if pants is fashion.
Yeah.
Pants is just what you should wear when you're out in public.
Maybe I'm just getting old.
But that's helicoptering to the extreme.
Yes,
if you're
yes.
going to the job interview with a child.
Although I do love that reporter. We'll never get over that reporter who's doing his live shot and his mom drives up. Hey, baby, what are you doing? I'm working, Mom.
I remember that.
That was a good one. All right, well, my talk of the table. This one may ruffle some feathers. Indiana mom who says she is reclaiming her Mother's Day celebration. Here's what led to that.
It's Mother's Day, not Grandmother's Day. I had spent the whole Mother's Day coordinating grandparent visits, and I didn't get to do anything for myself, and I was like, I'm not doing this again. We celebrate my mom and my mother-in-law on different days. We do the same thing on Father's Day. My husband gets to choose what he wants to do, and then we see my dad and my father-in-law on different days. This may ruffle feathers for some people, but that's what I want to do. And I make the boundary, and I'm going deep into the mothering right now. And so I'm going to take the day how I want to take the day.
Okay. Hey, mom. And it's on both sides
It's
of that,
working for
right?
her. But see,
Yeah.
I like celebrating. I'm getting on a plane, actually, as soon as I get up there, because I want to be in California to be with favorite daughter Kirby so we can all celebrate together. I personally
And they'll
like that.
celebrate
But it's
you.
working for her, yes.
Yeah.
Why can't we celebrate each other? But she said that she's the one that's doing all the planning.
Well, there is a Grandparents' Day, by the way.
There is
It's
and a
September
Mother-in-law's
8th.
Day, right?
Yes, it's September 8th, but I
But
think
why
it's
can't
not
the
as
hus-
nationally recognized, so.
But Nellie, why can't the husbands and the sons coordinate for the mother? So that she's not
They
doing
all
the way
get
it
a
should
day
be.
off,
That's the way it
exactly.
should be us. We should be.
mothers
That's right.
everywhere.
It should be us. It should be us coordinating
They just
that.
want a day off, Vlad.
You
You just
deserve
have a
more
day
than
off.
that, Mom. You all deserve everything in the world because moms are so important to us, and that's what I want to talk about. My talk at the table is a very special Mother's Day message. The poet Robert Browning wrote, "All love begins and ends with motherhood," and there are some very special people that want to express that love to the both of you. Watch this.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I love you so much. You're the best mom in the world.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. You're the best mom in the entire world. I love you so much. Thank you for everything that you do for me and for our entire family. You are our rock. I don't know what I would do without you, much less our family. I think we would actually not be able to function. So thanks for keeping us all together. You are the best, and not to mention one of the most incredible people in the entire world as well. I can't wait to celebrate with you over the weekend.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom!
Happy Mother's Day from your two 37-year-old potty-trained kids.
And potty training the next generation.
We just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. We love you so much.
You are truly a phenomenal mom. You are one of the most hardworking, not only moms, but humans that we all know, and we are so, so proud of you. And can't wait to spend Mother's Day with you.
And keep getting better every year.
Facts.
Yeah.
And you look fantastic. We love you.
We love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Bye. Can you say bye?
Bye.
Hi, so Josh and
Oh,
Luke.
we're yellow.
Yes, and we have something very special for you.
Oh, wow.
This is-
What? That's so nice.
Yes, happy
Wow.
Mother's Day, Gail. Happy
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to your beautiful wife.
Oh, thank you very
Look, while we're
much.
talking about mothers, we should brag on your wife for a second, because what did Marion do?
Her show last week tonight was nominated, actually won another Peabody Award.
So how many bodies does she have?
The show has 2.
Okay.
One of the most prestigious, journalism.
Happy Mother's Day.
But happy Mother's Day!
Thank you, Kirby. Get on a plane and go see our babies.
I love your son saying our family would just not
Fall apart.
would fall
Right.
apart without
And you're like, you're right.
Now,
No,
we've been falling apart all along.
I know, Natalie, when you walk through the door, there's going to be dishes everywhere. There's going to be
I got
food on
a
the
lot of
wall.
laundry to do when I get
So
home, that's
nice.
for sure.
That was so nice.
Oh, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
I'm adding Downy Unstoppables to my wash. Now I'll be smelling fresh all day long. Still fresh. Still fresh! Still fresh! Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables.
A view like this makes you realize we're all in it together. And they left us. How much oxygen do we have? A lot, a little, ballpark?
We made a promise to this family.
And to this land.
Better lose it than bring it. You get tough or die in this country. He's gonna lose this place, Beth. You need to fight. I love Montana, but I'm doing this for our family.
What's the decent word on the streets these days about
Frazier. I'm listening.
Wow. When you brag about yourself, it's obnoxious.
It came up naturally. Still got it.
Paramount Plus is serving up a super adventure.
You really expect me to watch a once-in-a-lifetime event without snacks?
Paw Patrol rated PG, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Face the Nation, the way to learn is to listen.
We may have a recession.
Listening to how someone explains themselves is so key to understanding their perspective.
City. It's just about 9 a.m. on the East Coast, 6 a.m. out west. I'm Vladimir Duthier in Times Square.
And I'm Anne-Marie Green in Studio 57. Here's a look at the stories grabbing our attention right now. Growing tensions between the U.S. and Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dismissing President Biden's threat to withhold weapons shipments over a potential Rafah invasion.
A fiery cross-examination. Donald Trump's legal team tries to discredit Stormy Daniels. We're outside the courthouse with the details.
More devastating weather amid a week of tornadoes in parts of the country. We're going to hear from some survivors lucky to be alive as they pick up the pieces.
Plus, we'll speak to a psychiatrist about the ongoing problem of video game bullying, how you can protect your kids.
And Harry and Meghan are in Nigeria this morning. We're going to tell you what is on the agenda for their busy 3-day trip to the West African nation. Of course, this has to do with the Invictus Games, which is kind of a passion of Harry. He founded the Invictus Games competition for former service members, kind of like the Paralympics, but for service members.
Yeah, it's a wonderful cause. And I love the fact that they're in Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria is the beating heart of Africa. You've heard me say many, many times.
Yeah.
It's such an important country. And not often do leaders and people of their stature visit Nigeria because it's a difficult place to sometimes navigate. So I'm really happy that they gave Niger some love.
There you go.
Niger. All right, let's begin this morning with former President Trump and his return to court today for his hush money criminal trial in Manhattan. Star witness Stormy Daniels wrapped up her testimony yesterday and faced a combative cross-examination after Trump's legal team tried to chip away at her credibility. At the end of the day, the former president failed to have the judge declare a mistrial over her testimony.
The CBS News campaign reporter and attorney, Katrina Kaufman, is joining us from just outside of the courthouse. All right, let's begin with a bit of what we can expect today. We heard from Stormy Daniels. Cross-examination is over. Who's going to be on the stand today?
This morning, we're continuing testimony from Madeleine Westerhout. She's a former White House aide and executive assistant to former President Trump. So yesterday, we were learning about how she was involved with things like handling Trump's contacts. She also saw him signing checks in the Oval Office, which will connect to this case. And very importantly, she set up a meeting between Donald Trump and Michael Cohen that happened in February of 2017, in which the prosecutors say is a meeting at which they discussed the hush money payments. So we're going to be hearing more from her today.
All right, so we're showing Stormy Daniels. Now, let us go back to that because she had to endure the cross-examination and she was actually pretty strong on the stand. What was sort of your biggest takeaway from Stormy Daniels' testimony yesterday?
As you said, she really stood her ground during what was an extremely intense cross-examination. It was so intense that at points I felt like I needed a break from it even. But the defense really tried to do their best to show inconsistencies in her story, to paint her as being motivated by money, but Stormy Daniels really countered everything they said. For example, when they were trying to show all the merchandise that she sold related to Trump's indictments, she said, you know, not unlike Mr. Trump. And also another thing that Trump's attorney did is periodically she would just say, you've just made this all up, haven't you? And at one point, Stormy Daniels said that if she had made up their sex encounter, she would have written it a lot better.
So I know a lot has been made of Stormy Daniels, but actually sort of the main event, the big person who's going to get to the stand is Michael Cohen. So we're learning now that he's expected on the stand on Monday. Everything we've heard before this has been there because of the need to reinforce whatever Michael Cohen is going to say, because Michael Cohen is a very flawed witness.
Exactly, yes. So we've just confirmed that Michael Cohen is going to take the stand on Monday. And leading up to here, we've really seen the prosecution building a case and trying to bolster in various ways everything that they are planning to have Michael Cohen testify about on the stand. So we've heard from other characters such as David Pecker, Keith Davidson, the attorney for Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, who negotiated these deals. And they've been testifying about the different types of evidence that we're going to see when Michael Cohen takes the stand, because he does have a huge credibility issue. And if we thought that the cross of Stormy Daniels was intense, I can only imagine what it's going to be like when Michael Cohen takes the stand.
Yeah, it ought to be interesting. Katrina Hoffman, thank you very much. All right, so here's what we're tracking to keep you in the know. 2 skiers died during an avalanche in Little Cottonwood Canyon. A rescue team rushed to the area mid-morning yesterday after the avalanche was reported in the mountains outside of Salt Lake City. One of the skiers who was able to dig himself out was rescued and taken to the hospital. The U.S. Senate has passed a $105 billion bill aimed at improving air safety standards and customer service. The bipartisan bill would boost the number of air traffic controllers and make it easier for customers to get refunds after flight delays and cancellations. The measure now goes to the House. A Boeing plane caught fire and skidded off a runway in Senegal's main airport. At least 10 people were hurt, that's according to officials. Passengers were seen jumping down emergency slides as flames shot from the Mali-bound aircraft carrying 85 people. It's unclear just what led to the incident on Wednesday night. Hunter Biden suffered a major legal setback yesterday. A federal appeals court refused to dismiss gun charges against him stemming from a special counsel investigation. The president's son has pleaded not guilty to lying about his drug use on a form in 2018 to buy a gun in Delaware. The trial is set to start in June. All right, now on to the growing tensions between the U.S. and Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing that President Biden's threat to withhold weapons will not prevent the country from proceeding with a military offensive in Rafah. Netanyahu declared Israel would stand alone and fight with its, quote, fingernails if necessary. This comes as ceasefire talks appear to be at a standstill. Both Israeli and Hamas delegates left negotiations in Cairo yesterday with no deal. Meanwhile, today, the UN General Assembly is expected to vote on a Palestinian bid for full membership within the alliance. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is expected to submit a report to Congress as soon as today on Israel's conduct in Gaza. According to Axios, the report is expected to be highly critical, but will stop short of concluding Israel violated international law. CBS News foreign correspondent Rami Asensio is following all of this for us from Tel Aviv. Rami, good morning.
Good morning. CIA Director William Burns has now left Cairo. So have both the Israeli and the Hamas delegations. Now, Reuters is reporting Israeli tanks have completely surrounded eastern Rafah. Our CBS News team in Gaza says fighting has fallen silent in the last hour.
Masjid Ibn Taymiyyah.
With this round of ceasefire talks over with no deal for now, Israel's military launched new strikes on Rafah, believed to be Hamas's last bastion. But for so many displaced, frustration and fear. Ali Abu Aida says there isn't a single safe place in the Gaza Strip. Gaza's southernmost city is also the last refuge from this war for 1.5 million people, 600,000 of them children, and why President Biden warned Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week, do not invade.
It's just wrong. I've known Joe Biden for many years, 40 years and more.
He spoke with Dr. Phil in Jerusalem on his rifts with the White House.
I hope we can overcome them now, but we will do what we have to do to protect our country. I've said we'll fight with our fingernails.
And last night, defiant in Hebrew to his domestic audience, he said, if we have to stand alone, we will stand alone. Former National Security Advisor Chuck Fraley.
I hate to say this, but I do think he is allowing his personal considerations to greatly influence the way that he is managing the world.
Political survival.
Netanyahu has been indicted for fraud, bribery, and breach of trust. He's denied those charges.
What's his next best move?
Reassure the administration that he does not intend to go beyond the limited operation currently underway. That operation is one which the U.S., I think, can not only live with, but support.
And today is the one-week deadline Israel gave to Hamas for a ceasefire deal before an offensive in Rafah. We know that deal does not exist right now. The White House again warned Israel that, quote, smashing into Rafah will not defeat Hamas. And Ray Platt.
Rami, thank you. So joining us now from Rafah right now is Scott Anderson. He's the director of UNRWA Gaza. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, UNRWA is the UN agency that delivers aid and relief to Palestinians. It's happening before the war and continues to happen now. The UN and the White House have both said that Israeli plans to protect civilians in Rafah were unsafe and inadequate. Israel has been telling Palestinians to move to another location where they have promised medical aid, they've promised tents. What are you seeing on the ground?
What we're seeing on the ground this morning or this afternoon here is that there are 1.5 million people in Rafah that are scared. Most of them are starting to move. I see people packing up all their belongings and starting to move west and starting to move north. Even in neighborhoods where there aren't evacuation orders. Most of these people have already been displaced 4, 5, or 6 times, so for them it's just another displacement. But what we are seeing is people are scared, people are moving, and they're worried about what's coming for them in the future.
And are they going to locations where there are facilities to support them, or is that, to use the word facilities, is that like a non-existent thing at this point?
Facilities may be overstating what's available to people. The Mawasi area where the IDF have declared a humanitarian zone.
Let's negotiate as leaders.
The piece of paper went from
bone pad, and it cracked it fractured my tailbone.
Tickets for sale. Anytime.
Furiosa, only in theaters May 24th.
Ooh.
Over the years, the average number of children in the United States, 1.7. So we're gonna round that up to 2. So 74% with young kids are in the labor force. That's been taking up over time. Actually has grown substantially since the pandemic. And then almost 1.2 million moms in this country are nurses, by far the biggest profession in this country.
Wow, okay. My sister Elisa is a nurse.
There we go.
So how about some fun mom facts and
these things called sloop?
The former president to declare a mistrial. His legal team objecting to some of the salacious claims made during 2 days of testimony by adult film star Stormy Daniels. Chris Glover is in Washington and sets up the day for us.
A former Trump White House aide, Madeleine Westerhout, will be returning to the stand this morning. She's been testifying about a 2017 meeting that she arranged in the Oval Office between Trump and Michael Cohen, where Trump's former lawyer claims the pair hatched the plan for the reimbursements for Stormy Daniels' hush money payment. And speaking of the adult film actress, as you just mentioned, her salacious testimony wrapping up yesterday, certainly a flashpoint of this trial. Daniels was defiant as the defense accused her of fabricating details of an alleged sexual encounter between her and Trump back in 2006. There were a lot of graphic sexual details given, but Trump stands accused of falsifying business records to cover up those payments to Daniels. And when it came to the actual transaction, Trump's defense team asked her if she had personal knowledge of Trump's involvement, to which she said she did not. Here's legal analyst Jessica Broth.
What is less clear at this point is whether or not Trump himself was personally involved in the falsification scheme, and that's critical for establishing the charges in this indictment. Michael Cohen's testimony will be critical in this regard.
Critical testimony that we continue to wait for. Cohen, certainly, that could be coming any day now. And another person who may take the stand is Donald Trump himself. Stormy Daniels yesterday evening taking to social media to criticize Trump, writing, that real men respond to testimony by being sworn in and taking the stand in court. Oh wait, never mind. So she, I guess, does not think that he is going to, but it really is a bit unclear. Like a lot of things with Donald Trump,